Namaste, namaste, precious, precious souls. Welcome to Book of Life. Today we're going to be reading the 5th degree, lesson 2, Harmonizing Wavelength of Love. This is a good one. So before we begin, we will do a little invocation. So if you'd like to just get comfortable. To the Supreme Being, the source and fountain of all life, Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, to all of our spiritual teachers, to Holy Master Choa, to Buddha Padmasambhava, to the Circle of Seven, to Robert and Earlyne Chaney, to Burton Bigelow, to Master Astara, Lord Kuthumi, Lord Rama, Lord Zoser, to the Astarian hierarchy, to the Lord Yehoshua Bar Miriam, the Lord Christ, to the Holy Mother Mary, Lord Kuan Yin Buddha, Lord Gautama Buddha, to all the great, great ones, our celestial guides, our angel guides, our higher souls, to the planetary Logos, Sanat Kumara, the solar Logos, Lord Amun Ra, the universal Logos, the central spiritual sun. We humbly invoke for your great, great blessings. May we be a channel through which thy holy ones approach the world. May we be a center for the radiation of thy power. Teach us to travel light, that we may better gain the heights, break the bonds that bind. Teach us to give ourselves entirely to thy service and to tune ourselves to thy will. Teach us to lay down the small personal life for the greater cosmic life and to love with the love of God, with thanks and full faith. Tat tat so. Tat tat so. All right. 5th degree, lesson 2, the harmonizing wavelength of love. Love's harmony. Burton continues his teaching concerning love over there. Love is the light of the world, whether it be your world or the astral world. The scripture, if thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light, implies that as each person advances spiritually and the energy center, which is the third eye, becomes activated, light from the divine spheres will penetrate and envelop that body in every situation that person encounters, filling him or her with divine love. When you speak of the love light on earth, you usually complete the phrase by saying, the love light in his or her eyes. Eyes are the most direct outlet for the light of love in the physical form. But on my side, the inner love light is more easily gauged. Each astral form emits its own light, and according to the density or clearness of this inner light, you are relegated to a higher or lower plane on the astral when you first arrive. As you steadily progress, the inner light becomes more radiant. Every form also emits a sound. Even the physical form registers a certain vibratory note. The astral form also emits an individualized vibrational sound, which of course is coarse or beautiful, depending upon your depth of spiritual understanding. Within every being, there are 3 different worlds of vibration. First, the frequency of matter, which issues from the body of flesh. Second, the frequency of the astral emotional form. And last, the frequency of our spiritual love form. People are familiar with light rays, wireless, infrared, and ultraviolet rays, but you know little of the emotional, mental, and soul wavelengths. Most people do not think of their various bodies as electric batteries or wireless sets, and the fact that they continuously radiate invisible rays of color and light. Around your form, constantly contracting and expanding, is a miniature aurora borealis, completely dominated by the expression of your emotions and thoughts. Never does it blaze in such brilliance as when evoked by love. Why cannot love ever be hid? In all moments of deep emotion, whether of love, grief, joy, anger, the lights and colors project from you like radiating waves. These are the frequency wavelengths of the soul, the physical body being only the magnetic pole, the focal point of attraction. The purer the emotions, the thoughts, the more radiant the wavelengths of your personal aurora borealis. Within you is the on button to be pressed to release the happiness atoms. Once they are released within, they billow outward like a radiant balloon, gathering other happiness atoms from surrounding ethers. Thus, truly the kingdom of heaven is within. But you must push the blessing button if you would experience the showers of blessings you seek. How do you do this? One method is through the expression of true love. The other is through spiritual practice, study, or meditation, thereby stimulating the God center in the brain. The aura, constantly projecting wavelengths, can never be stilled, and every changing feeling and thought causes a change, a reaction. Your sensitivity to this auric force is the yardstick by which you gauge your life on earth. Through it, you measure everyone you meet. Through it, you fall in love at first sight or you immediately dislike someone. You feel a blending or a clash of wavelengths. You feel the peace in the environment of a room or antagonism. Indeed, you live and move and have your being in the vibrational wavelengths of your individual auras. Passion is vibration synchronized. The passion of the body is the synchronization of physical magnetism. The passion of the mind is the synchronization of mental magnetism between two persons or ideas. The passion of the soul is the synchronization which leads to love. The passion of the spirit is the synchronization of two people of the same frequency or rate of vibration, expressing on every level. Between these two is the expression of true love. Only by synchronizing the passion of the body, the mind, the soul, and the spirit can two entities experience fusion through the frequencies of harmonious wavelengths. Unless passion becomes synchronized on all levels, it remains simply that, passion. It becomes pure love only when body, mind, and spirit all vibrate on the same frequency. Problems begin when people regard themselves as physical bodies only. When you consider the physical body to be your only instrument of expression, therein lies the beginning of the death of love. Love is not only of the body or the emotions or even of the soul. Love is of the spirit. When passion functions exclusively through the body or the emotions, it is one-dimensional. It requires the force of the soul and the spirit to express a true love union. When the auric musical tones of astral lovers are eventually blended, their two beings become one complete musical note. The blending of these musical harmonies cause responsive, ascending billows of colors like the rays of the aurora borealis, often rising higher and higher until they call down the musical vibrations and indescribable colors of the celestial planes. Love and sound. What do you mean by the sound of love? We asked. And Burton explained. The love of your soul, note, is musical. Actually, tone and rhythm underlie every facet of life in etheria. Indeed, it becomes obvious that the atoms themselves are held together by musical rhythms, sound rhythms, vibrational rhythms. The sound closely attuned to the love atoms is the sound of music. Vibrational timing underlies the entire science of love itself. Music and rhythm possess an incomparable spiritual power. Our universe itself emits its own macrocosmic note, its mantram, its holy sound, its sound current. This solar system of ours, but a mite of matter swimming in illimitable seas of space, emits its own tone and quality, and in it, the speck of earth produces its own musical note in the universal harmony. The same is true of every grain of sand, every atom. The astral, too, and all the higher spheres render their own notes in the celestial music that is God. How does music stir the soul? Every soul emits an individualized musical soul note, and according to its vibration, tunes in to the music of the spheres, the lower spheres or the higher spheres. The ethers of earth are filled with the sounds of both raucous and celestial music. The human being's response to sound will one day be the basis of your healing science. As one progresses higher in vibrational expression, there is an automatic attunement to higher musical rhythms and vibrations. In the earth, ages ahead, as the flow of sexual hormones begins to diminish in the physical form, physical love will gradually be harmonized with soul love. The sounds of inner music will be lifted to more celestial harmonies. People on earth are not yet aware of the impact music creates upon them. You only know that music can lift you completely out of the material world and into another dimension, can arouse innumerable emotions depending upon its quality and tempo, partnering via radioactive wavelengths. How do astral scientists utilize this knowledge to solve love problems on the inner planes? We asked. And Burton explained, well, what is a true marriage? True partnership can only be attained when two souls are aurically attuned. Natural soulmates find each other through twin wavelengths of both color and sound. Synchronization of auras and soul notes becomes an art. Just as a telephone switchboard hooks up two numbers, so have astral radiologists discovered a method of hooking up harmonious wavelengths between souls, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Your first impression may be that such computerized partnering in love becomes too scientific, but it is not true. It is simply establishing methods by which one can measure and gauge a soul's true vibration, and then, based upon the science of light and sound, find a twin or complementary wavelength. Earth science knows that individuals can be recognized not only by fingerprints, they also know that vocal patterns can also be measured and recognized as being individualistic. You call these voice prints. If fingerprints, voice prints, and individual DNA can be measured and qualified, why not soul prints? And why not harmonize twin soul prints? Could it be expecting too much that one day science of Earth may be able to find for each child at birth a spiritual complement, counterpart, or vibrationally attuned partner through a computer? If each individual has its own special wavelength, its own vibrational auric pattern, its own soul sound, perhaps science will one day help provide each individual with an ideal partner by discovering the polaric vibration held in common. Perhaps, too, the time will come when each soul will be read astrologically at birth, and just as astrologers base future plans according to one's horoscope, so may one learn to seek a partner according to astrological charts of past lives. There are those who may find it shocking to be told that true connection lies in the vibratory radiations between two people, but the law of vibration applies on all levels of life. Surely, learning to use one's vibrational wavelength to find a wonderful partner is but a natural extension of our understanding of the connection between mind, body, and spirit. If this additional consideration could help avoid some of the mismatches currently made in people's lives, this could only be helpful. Such a teaching seems overly technical to some. How can one fall in love via a machine, they ask. How unromantic, they declare. There's no poetry, they laugh. But when vibratory rates of two people can be measured and found to harmonize, many of the other differences can be faced and overcome. What is a true love match? How beautiful it is to witness a true love match on earth. People whose auras, radioactive emanations blend and harmonize. What a rarity, and what an inspiration. Too often, marriage results from passion and expediency, and these are not strong foundations upon which to build lasting happiness. And often, people simply cannot seem to find the right person no matter how long and hard they search. Is it so wrong to look toward our metaphysical connections for help? All around you, there are others whose auras would vibrate harmoniously with your own. Is it so wrong to try to find one among them? The wrong seems to be in not wanting until such a mate is found, somewhere on earth or in heaven. There is your other half, your twin soul. Mating via radioactive harmony assures the possibility of union with your true twin soul. It must be understood that there can be many soulmates with one whom one may harmonize along the way. but only one twin soul with whom one will eventually harmonize for all eternity. The time will come on earth when people will say, I intend to find a partner of harmonious vibrations. In this world, there may be several who vibrate in harmony with me. I shall consider marriage only with one of them. It is as easy to fall in love with one of them as with anyone else. When people arrive at this level of understanding concerning vibrational partnering, many of the tragedies of earth will be no more. Children will come to parents who want them, need them, cherish them. People, it must be admitted, are at a disadvantage in the choice of partners. They meet, are attracted, and too often become committed to one another, knowing little about each other. There are very little means of gauging the inner self until the couple actually lives together. In Etheria, it is an altogether different story. Auras are easily read, temperaments defined, ideas analyzed before a loving relationship even begins. Therefore, when two Etherians decide they wish to establish a committed bond, both are quite sure of vibrational harmony. In their own way, they work out love problems that develop between them, bound only by what their own souls need for further happiness, evolution, and fulfillment. In our last lesson, we spoke of couples remaining together not so long as they both shall live, but only so long as they both shall love. Yet here we are saying that soulmates may be found via auric readings. Is there a contradiction? Let it be explained that in our previous lesson we spoke of love on the astral. Partners on the highlands in Summerlin are usually those who seek each other via harmonious auric wavelengths. Some on the astral do not believe in such sciences. Just as many people on earth seldom give heed to teachings concerning the aura. Thus, the auric method of locating soulmates usually does not apply on the lower astral. Souls there meet and come together, much as on earth, except that there is a more highly developed sensitivity to harmony than is experienced on earth. How long does a soul marriage last? Soulmate selectivity becomes a true art only as souls graduate to Highland and Summerland. Usually, after such a connection, the unions last for a long time. Earth difficulties. While you dwell in bodies on earth, love can never be measured in its fullest purity. In Etheria, the very presence of one's beloved imparts a magnetic joy, a point of fulfillment. No physical body, limited by the nervous filaments, is capable of expressing the completion and intensity of spirit. The physical form can neither give nor receive that which the soul imparts, can experience no adequate conception of the nature or depth of joy imparted mutually by two loving souls in Etheria. Commitment in Etheria. Burton further explained that marriage in many of the planes was almost the exact counterpart of Earth. Certainly, commitment takes place in the spheres, not based upon ceremony as upon Earth, nor on the purpose of procreation, but commitment in Summerland is measured much according to the valuation of mutual spiritual activities. Burton tells us, up through all the spheres, people are still regarded as the positive and negative aspects of all being, corresponding to wisdom and love. Marriages between twin souls are considered sacred unions. Marriages not of twin souls, but only of soulmates, are always terminated sooner or later, for they ultimately come to a time when they have fulfilled their purpose, the ever-widening boundaries of true love. Twin souls who stay together up through the spheres experience a love that ultimately becomes universal, the love of each flowing not only one to the other, but out to all throughout Etheria and to the earth plane, just as the sun shines upon all. When people learn the true potential of connection on all levels, only then will earth find some measure of heaven. The frustration, grief, heartaches, and hatred that are born of a mismatch can often bring out the worst in people. What is the basis of humankind's search for fulfillment? When life has been robbed of its sweetest part, there is that in humanity which turns bitter. The intangible quality of love cannot be touched, but its effect in the lives of human beings can certainly be perceived. Millions of people today long for love, but are without it. They feel only the emptiness of their quest. Life in Etheria promises a greater fulfillment. Over here, there is no such thing as loveless love. Sex on the astral. Always the lovers of earth are divided by the veil of earth, Burton continues. Often partners of a true love union experience an ecstatic longing to become so completely a part of the beloved as to dissolve the earthly body and merge soul to soul. It is a longing for closeness far transcending the closeness of the sexual union, although the physical form prevents such merging. It is such soul longing that generates the true sexual union. The true love unions of Etheria are no longer clouded by earth matter, and the longing to merge completely with the beloved is realized. The body which divided the lovers on earth is left behind. Two soulmates may actually merge in such a union in the higher planes, for their auras vibrate in harmony, blending together in perfect rhythm. We ask the question, does the spirit form possess the same sexual organs as they possess by the physical body, or do they perform the same functions over there? And Burton answered, immediately after death, one possesses a body which assumes the same shape as the discarded physical form, though clothed in an ethereal substance which vibrates with a greater intensity. On earth, the male phallus, united with the female yoni, forms a positive negative center of creative force. The union results in a transfer of the male seed, the sperm, into the female egg, the ovum, with the purpose, supposedly, of creating offspring. More often, the purpose is to express love or desire. In either case, offspring can still result. In Etheria, at least on the astral, the phallus and the yoni still unite as a center of creative force, but the union does not result in a transfer of seed into egg, nor does the act result in offspring. The climax, therefore, does not spell the force in a discharge out of creative energy as people on earth know it, the release of the sperm. Rather, it lifts the lovers into an ecstatic swoon, out of which is created not the conception of offspring, but the conception of love atoms, auric forces, shining particles so saturated with love as to contain some measure of divinity. In Etheria, women do not bear children, though the illusion of sexual passion may be experienced as long as it is the soul's desire. While existing in the astral, the soul remains caught in its earthly memories and still abides in the fantasy of the earth dream. It retains that part of it which relates to marriage. As the soul leaves the astral for Summerlin, there exists a harmony and freedom that may not be expressed by true lovers when their minds are dulled and they are weighed down and depressed by a heavy material body. In Summerlin, such love changes in character, the conditions of life, the consciousness being very different from those that prevail on earth. The divine law of use is the source of every organ and function. Deity itself is dual in attributes, wisdom and love, positive and negative. All manifestations of the infinite are expressed through these principles, and in every form or manifestation of activity, some degree of both elements or principles is expressed. Although containing dual principles and forces, no single form is complete in itself. It must have its counterpart, its complement, to round out its perfection. We have said that when you first arrive on the astral, you imagine you must eat and drink. You walk with your feet and legs as you did on earth because you have not yet developed the power of thought travel. So do you also possess the same sexual organs and the same sex drive you experienced on earth. The organs of the spirit form, however, having no procreative functions as did the physical form, supply instead magnetic activity to the general system and aid in the generation and distribution of magnetic and electrical forces. These organs remain a seat of life force, since through the intelligent will and love element, it increases the flow of the magnetic aura toward the counterpart of its partner. On Earth, The reproductive organs fulfill the functions of reproduction, as well as other purely physiological duties. In Etheria, the physiological functions cease. Glands, which produced seed and sperm, are no longer required. As one progresses, one learns to live by attunements and refining the aura. What is the purpose of self-discipline? On earth, one may strive to perfect dancing, painting, sculpturing, music making, any of dozens of talents. In Etheria, one adds to these the art of auric sensitivity and attunement. Practicing the art of mindfulness leads to sensitizing one's mind and aura, one's soul light, soul sound, thought direction, auric reading, which is the reading of another's aura, psychometrizing the touch of another's hand, and sharpening perception to the sound of another's soul note. While this synthesization is for the purpose of sharpening one's soul to its highest possible realization of the God forces, it also sharpens one's instincts of love and partnership. Such sensitizing leads one more surely toward happiness and the creation of service in a love union. Physical unions, by contrast, become only shadow without substance, especially those where love is not experienced. The organs in the higher form, which correspond to the reproductive organs in the physical, perform functions related to soul communion. How is commitment made perfect over there? The relaxation of commitment becomes more perfect in the next life. Love transcends passion. The objects of love are exalted far above the reproductive impulses of the blood, which dominates the sexual expression on earth. The physical reproductive urge is transferred to that of spirit. Once two souls are perfectly blended emotionally, psychically, spiritually, their union gives way to the joys of pure love realization. Into the union of bodies, there comes a mental and spiritual union. Light and sonic forces merge. Such merging impinges mind with mind and soul with soul. The blended consciousness passes into a swoon or love dream, which can only be described as bliss. Being no momentary climax, it extends as long as the will force of the two involved can maintain it. Such an ecstatic union calls down celestial love forces from the higher realms. For this love-making is indeed just that, the making of love atoms, which is the only act worthy of the name of love-making. Earth lovers seldom are able to melt into the sound vibrations of Earth's highest currents. Not so in Etheria. Not only does each share the fusion of the soul music, but wafted on the wings of love, they merge with the sound of the cosmic music of even higher planes. Those who are capable of ascending to higher celestial dimensions discover not only the full connotations of their mutual love, but for a fleeting moment catch the message of divinity. Returning to the normal conscious level, they find themselves trailing clouds of glory. The same is true of perfectly partnered earth lovers. After experiencing such physical, emotional, spiritual ecstasy, the individuals are never the same, for this is true communion of spirit and matter, body and soul. The ensuing rapture is beyond the emotions of ordinary human senses, for such a union is of the spirit. Even though this rapture may only be experienced once, it is always remembered with awe and regarded as the time we touched paradise. For these two, a crescendo of love music rises with clouds of sound as musical love vibrations fuse with vast sweeps of color. This heavenly music can be seen as well as heard, as it blends with celestial vibrations. What is education in love? The art of love. Every child on the astral is educated on the realization that love is the basis of all life, that God is love, and that God is behind all loving activities. On earth, where love is too frequently confused with sex, too often is sex still whispered about as being sinful. Too often you neglect or to educate your young that love is far more than sex, but that sex can be love's highest physical expression. Some people still do not teach their children about their right of choice, the importance of choosing the right person at the right time for the right reasons, and regarding the importance of emotional connection, self-respect, and respecting one's partner. Reproductive organs of the etheric form. To repeat, it may be thought that since reproduction is not a part of life in etheria, the presence of the reproductive organs in the etheric form would be superfluous. It is true that there is no reproduction in etheria, but the reproductive organs have other uses. All things, whether here or on earth, are determined by a basic law of use, as I have said. One might as well say that the spirit form should possess no teeth, since it is no longer necessary to eat food in order to survive. But the teeth have many other uses. Here on earth, the first implication would be that their only use is to chew and masticate food. But even though there were no such thing as food, teeth are a necessary part of the formation of the face. Teeth are also a vital part of speech, since they are employed in the pronunciation of words. Teeth are an integral part of the spiritual form, even though there is no further necessity to eat, and often no necessity to pronounce words, since thoughts are projected telepathically. Nevertheless, a spirit form would be incomplete without the teeth and the facial symmetry they provide for one's appearance. The same is true of the reproductive organs. On earth, being the channels of reproduction is only one of their uses. Again, they are necessary for the performance of other purely physiological duties. Since both of these uses are eliminated in etheria, it remains then that the reproductive organs are present in the spiritual form because there are other functions which they perform. Though they do not channel reproductive fluids, nevertheless, they are a vital part of affection and love in etheria, even though they do not respond to stimuli as do the reproductive organs of the physical form. They are the seats of electromagnetic forces, and through them flow an exchange of these vital forces in connection with sexual enjoyment, which are most certainly continued in etheria. From such unions are born the divine essences of wisdom and philanthropy, rather than children as on earth. In the high planes of etheria, heart communes with heart. Perfect love transforms two souls, each to the other's image. There is a deep and abiding rapture in this mysterious communion of congenial souls, union in the higher planes. As has been mentioned, when one first arrives on the astral, all organs are duplicated in the spirit form in their ultimate spiritual perfection. But there is a subtle difference. The sexual organs on earth serve several purposes: to provide sexual pleasure, to consummate a union, and to plant the seeds of reproduction. Therefore, the physical organs of both the male and the female possess the necessary chemicals, fluids, and so on to perform the function of procreation. Love on the astral is not so proposed. Again, union here does not relate to progeny. Even on the astral, love answers to the law of attraction and mental fusions, which far transcend the sexual expression on earth. The law of evolution is progressive development. Our forms, through the ages, have perpetually evolved from a beast-like creature to a refined and cultured symmetry of beauty. We have not yet attained our physical perfection. Who can say what changes will occur in our forms as evolution proceeds? The human body today represents the accumulated development of all past physical principles, the mineral, plant, and animal powers, forces, elements, and essences. Do I have a destined divinity? To develop your ultimate perfection, your present form must become etherealized, must master the elements, must attain freedom from disease, must realize some degree of its ultimate immortality, and must reflect some portion of your divinity. When such a form is evolved and generative organs will have undergone an incredible spiritualizing process. When such a form dies, then perhaps it can be said that the spirit form duplicates the physical in a generative sense, but not at present. The sex organs of the spirit form possess their own electromagnetic properties. far superior to those of the physical. As a child of earth loses its baby teeth to make way for adult teeth, so does the astral lose its generative seeds and fluids in order to manifest spiritual functions. Sexual connection is certainly continued in the unseen spheres on up to the very Godhead, for creation itself, of both human and universe, came forth because of the divine union of the masculine and feminine principles of deity itself. Mother Nature has given you your physical garment, which possesses sexual organs, through which you express physical love. On the astral, the counterparts become conductors of electric force, generated by the emotion of love. Reunion. Nothing is so heavenly as the love that is found again between two true twin souls who were separated by death. It is not unusual for the one who has gone ahead to wait for the other, and no human words can describe the incomparable joy that attends such a reunion. The one who has gone before revels in teaching the new arrival how to become acclimated to the new astral body and the new astral vibrations and the laws of the new dimension. Some are fortunate enough to be happily partnered on earth. In that case, the two will be reunited over here. Most people, however, finding themselves still alive in the astral world, hope to find here what earth failed to provide, a partner with whom to be in love and with whom to share companionship. Regardless how lonely, how fruitless the search has been on earth, know this: there is a partner for you over here. There is an answer to your loneliness over here. There is a time of fulfillment coming. The most exalted human love is but a pale shadow compared to that transcendent quality of love found over here. Physical obstructions to bliss. Is perfect spiritual fusion ever possible? Only on the spiritual plane is the perfect spiritual fusion of the love match possible. On earth, the physical form itself prevents such a spiritual fusion. It is the melting together of two perfectly blended auras and spiritual forms which replaces the coarser unions of the flesh on earth. Few love unions on earth, even amongst the most ideal couples, ever achieve the perfect fusion of body, soul, and spirit. Even the most ideally physically matched couple will find that their longing actually to enter into and become a part of the other is always frustrated. To repeat, the physical form itself is the barrier to such a fusion. In Etheria, such a melding is the common experience, while on Earth, these experiences are so rare that should a couple attain it, it becomes a memory never to be forgotten. The physical body actually creates a shell that partially shuts you away from love, since love is an energy. When you shed the physical form, you have shed one of the obstructions, and you find yourselves better able to contact the vibratory force of love energy that pervades God's entire creation. Every time we shuffle off another body, sheath, or shell, whichever one wishes to call it, we have shed another obstruction and find ourselves better able to absorb the shining love atoms. And as we are all able to inbreathe and absorb this divine light, this white light, the God light, this love, only then do we become truly able to make love or create love atoms. But the love union between two evolved souls on earth is the highest reaching toward the limited heights earth has to offer. Each partner makes love atoms pour forth into the aura of the other. A union like this is truly blessed by the white light. To be in love with one who fully returns the love is one of life's greatest fulfillments. It can make the plainest face glow. And though the physical form may not actually take on structural changes, certainly the etheric form assumes exquisite beauty. How do I beautify my astral body? If you have not been blessed with a pleasing face and form and hope the astral sheath will be more beautifully endowed, your best assurance is to find someone to love. This does not have to be romantic love, for you can find other means of expressing a more divine love: love for children, love for animals, love for the elderly, love of dear friends and family, love, love, love. But the greatest of all beautifiers is to fall in love and fill that love with service, commitment in heaven. Where true adaptation is achieved, true union follows, a perfect and enduring union of soul with soul. So perfect is the merger that all the laws, attractions, enchantments, progressions of the spirit world act upon this conjoined pair as upon one living soul. Thus, in the celestial realms, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but they are as the angels. To be as the angels is to be in eternal union with a partner in accordance with the universal principles of spiritual affinity. Such soul-joined spirits are never severed. Love and religion. As millions of people depart the religion of their youth, their most frantic search is for a religion that understands love, that will interchange love and God, that will be on speaking terms with science. No longer will the masses tolerate ministers, priests, and rabbis who are ignorant of science and the advances science has made into the realms of the mystical. Every soul will be freed from religious dictatorship, and if it is not changed to harmonize with the incoming spiritual currents, the masses will depart orthodoxy by the millions and find their own Godward way. And that is fifth degree, lesson 2. If you guys are open, what we'll do is, I think I have, oh, I only have the October. Let me pull up the November blessing so that we can end on a November blessing. Sorry about that. I thought I had a screenshot. There it is. Okay. So just go ahead and be in a nice receptive pose, palms facing up. To the Supreme Being, to all those that we have invoked to all the celestial guides and angel guides of all on this call, all Astarians. May emanations of spiritual power enfold you in the light of love and the atmosphere of creative expression. May the dynamic power of infinite life blend with your objectives and aspirations and help you bring them to fruition. Tatatso. And the affirming meditation. Before God, in the highest, I place my concerns of this day. I ask that they be touched by the divine spirit in whose presence these burdens are lightened. In my mind and heart are the simple requests of a seeker after divine light. May I gain strength to shoulder my responsibilities in the world. May these blessings manifest. We are all one with the great consciousness which is God, unconditional love. May this unconditional love surround, enfold, embrace all cells, all molecules, all atoms in the space surrounding all cells, all molecules, all atoms of all on this call. Surrender any reluctance. We are one with the great consciousness which is God, surrounded, enfolded, and embraced by the pure white light. Only good can come to us. Only good shall go from us. We give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks. So I wanted to throw something out before we end. How many have purchased the Angelic Encyclopedia? Do you guys have a copy of that yet? You can throw it in the chat if you want. Good, good, good. Okay. Because here's what I've had a conversation with Greg, and I think what we're going to do, because I have the Book of Life the first Monday and the third Monday. The second Monday, we do a meditation. I think I'm going to move the fourth Monday of every month, and we're going to have some fun with the Angelic Encyclopedia. So we'll pick one of the angelic beings, and then we will experiment and work with that on that fourth Monday, if you guys are open to that. I don't want to go too far with it because I don't want to, I want people to get the book. And what I experienced and what you know is that we can't connect to God, right? So the energy from God is stepped down into, and that's what Greg does a great job in presenting, the seraphim, the cherubim, the thrones, the dominions, the powers, the domains, all the way down. And that's the way that God steps down the energy so that we can make contact with archangels and angels to receive those aspects of God that we're capable of receiving without like blowing us up basically. It's like if we were to plug our house into the power station, we couldn't do that. So this is a way of stepping that down. And to be able to practice with these angelic energies to experience those aspects of God through that element, I think is going to be very profound. And the book is very illuminating in a lot of ways. And this is only book one. So I'm not going to outrun the kick, but imagine how vast God is with all the incredible elements and what we have access to with these 51 angels. And so let's practice experimenting and contacting them and bringing them into our lives experientially. So I can't wait to start this, and we'll put it up on the Astara website. I don't know if we'll do it this month or we'll start in December, but we're going to start and we're going to do that. So I look forward to that. And I hope you have a beautiful day, morning, night, wherever you are. Enjoy. And we'll see you tomorrow for a blessing of the prayer petitions. Namaste, precious, precious souls. Thank you so, so much. Take good care.